Here are the horoscopes for the week of the 27th of April to the 3rd of May 2015. We begin with the weekend bringing a very golden, harmonious aspect. Jupiter and the moon shining their radiance. It's a time to get into the cells of the body and to relight the energy all throughout our bodies. There's a lot of energy work that can be done during the month of Taurus, but especially with this Moon-Jupiter alignment as well. So sometimes life can get very complicated. We can start to believe our own story, but it's good to stop in the month of Taurus to reconnect with the simplicity and with the magnificence of life itself, because life as we see it is often a program that we've run, memories cast into the future, and a story that's beginning to unfold. We're creating that potential future, but it's all coming from the mind and the psychology and the retained memories and pain. But during the month of Taurus, it's a very heartfelt month, and this is a great weekend, a great beginning of the week to stop, to make things very simple. Maybe return to when you were a child, when you were expressing your core essence, just the awe and wonder of the light breaking through the clouds, or the purr of a cat, or the laugh of a child. Just remember that simplicity of being and the excitement of every day, and try and get out of that mind space for a moment, because by doing that we can reset our default setting to purity and magnificence and expectation of wondrous things, and we can in a way stop some of those stories running. We can change our potential future to one that's more aligned with who we really are rather than what we expect to happen. So a great reset going on at the beginning of the week. Get into your magnificence, meditate on your heartbeat, that first pulse of life that enters the body, that pure divine spark, and see if we can stop some of the stories that we're projecting from unfolding by resetting right at the core those default settings to be wonder and miracles and potential of beauty unfolding. So while we're in this space, it's a great time to consider healing. Now, we're also taught that time is linear, which is a great trap, especially for the mind. But on Monday, I feel that we've got the opportunity to actually look at being in our centre and healing in all directions, and that includes the past and the future. So by getting into this space of default purity and magnificence, can we send waves back to what we perceive as the past, to heal anything that served us and we don't need to carry forwards, and send waves into the future, because in fact all time is happening at once. So maybe imagine that you're a golden pulse sending out waves in all directions once you've achieved that sense of heart-centeredness and purity. Because I hear a lot of talk about mindfulness, and I understand that that concept is to be aware of the mind and to be sovereign to the mind, but I much prefer the words soulfulness and heart-centeredness, because we are trying to get out of the mind in this current age and back into our pure essence. So maybe Monday, Tuesday, have a meditation on the heartbeat, the pulse that it's sending out. Reconnect with your pureness and see if you can visualize yourself as in the center of all time, past, present and future, sending out healing waves in every direction and reconnecting with that center. Because I also hear a lot of speak about wanting to feel grounded, and yet I prefer the word centered, because that means you can be anywhere, you can be everywhere in space and time and still feel at home with yourself. So home, heart, hearth, all the same thing. They're all talking about getting into that heart center during this beautiful Venus-ruled earthly month of Taurus, connecting with the flowers blooming, connecting with nature, connecting with the sun's warmth growing, and pulsing out the nowness from a place of heartfulness and soulfulness, because that in a way does actually help us to be more mindful as well. So a great week for focus, because we're coming up to two things now. We're coming up to one of the most powerful full moons of the year, and we're coming up to a Mercury retrograde. So what I love about astrology is sometimes we get shown how long something's going to last, when to let go, and when to just reset and be in a place of nowness, because there'll be plenty of activity coming up from the 4th of May with the full moon in Scorpio and into the Mercury retrograde, so we might as well just reset now and do some simple meditative healing. So I'll be talking us through the Mercury retrograde as it happens, step by step, but this will be beginning on the 4th at the same time as the full moon in Scorpio. So for now we just need to get focused. Now what happens in a Mercury retrograde is things that are on the small controllable level, our mind thinks that we're controlling things with thought and action. That can all get a bit tangled up as we swap hemispheres and we go into the right brain and we get into our intuition. So if we can set a long goal now, maybe head towards the end of June for where the planning brain wants to be heading, but then let go of the reins a little bit, then all the hiccups or all the bits and pieces, the small detail that don't quite go the way we want to, that's okay, because we've still got that focus on the long range of where we're going. For me, it feels a little bit like a car sat-nav, where we program in the final destination and then we just follow the clues, follow the instructions along the way without micro-controlling everything. So by Wednesday, Thursday, maybe have a look at where you're heading towards or where you'd like to be heading towards by the end of June, and set a tonal plan for that, set that final destination into your sat-nav, but then maybe let go of the reins, let go of the attachment, because it might be a slightly different route that you take to get there, but you will get there in the end. Now by Thursday and Friday we're heading into the wonderful festival of Beltane, or Beltane. And this is the festival that used to go on when the May blossoms came out. So the hawthorn blossom came out. It was the signal that spring was here. It was a specific rite that was celebrated to do with the love of nature, sensuality, and enjoyment of the earth. It's the exact opposite of Halloween or Samhain. So this is the celebration of life and sensuality, whereas the Halloween celebration was more to do with the souls departing and the celebration of life that's past and sending it to the other realms. So death and sexuality and rebirth going on at Halloween, but Beltane is the opposite of that. It's the celebration of life right here and right now. So this begins on Thursday night, and it's a beautiful time again just to connect with nature, to connect with your heart centre, appreciate life in all its forms. Just maybe take a look at colour, look really deeply into colour and sound and harmony, and see if you can fall in love with life itself. Beltane and Halloween happen at the opposite ends of the Milky Way. So Taurus is the bull, but it's also the cow, because in the Celtic tradition it was the mother cow goddess Boann, which the Boyne River is named after, and the Boyne River mirrors the Milky Way. So the Milky Way is the milk of the nourishing cow mother goddess, and this is where it's said to be that souls come in from the Orion Nebula down the Milky Way. It's the entrance point. And then by contrast, Halloween is at the other end of the zodiac, between Scorpio and Sagittarius, with Ophiuchus, the end of the Milky Way where souls were said to depart and go back to the other realms. And I've written a piece on my blog about Ophiuchus and the 13 signs of the zodiac if you'd like to go and check that out. So for Thursday, Friday, we've got Beltane, the rites of spring, sensuality, joy, reconnecting with the now, because we are spirits incarnate, but it's not that we're supposed to get out of the carnal. We're supposed to blend those two together, how to be spiritual, how to stay connected, but how to actually enjoy our experience and our expression while we're here. So really lovely, stop and smell the roses, stop and appreciate nature energy coming in all week, which will help us to set our tone, to heal our past, present and future, to run the energies through our body. As the sun gets brighter and warmer, we can actually imagine the cells of our body glowing in strength and growing in strength as well. So a lovely kind of reset feeling to most of the week. By the time we get to Saturday and Sunday, the 2nd and 3rd of May, we have the moon entering Scorpio and getting ready for this full moon. Now, we hear a lot of talk in modern times about supermoons and blue moons and blood moons, but for me, this is the most powerful full moon of the year, and that's just from experience. I've seen it time and time again. Just as we're going through the sensual and energized and now and slow and heartfelt month of Taurus, we get the full moon come along in the opposite sign of Scorpio. And a full moon acts like a depth charge, because all of that subconscious thoughts and feelings from our giant magnet inside, anything that's lurking in there, any repressed emotions, any anger, any low self-esteem, any power plays, any manipulation, with the Scorpio full moon can be brought up into full sight. So full moons are always a little bit uncomfortable, but if we work with the law of polarity, we can see it's two ends of a scale. So we have the sun in Taurus and the moon in Scorpio, and it's up to us to actually examine what comes up from the inside and slide the slider along that scale to find the fusion in the middle. So we can see there that by Monday we've got the full moon in Scorpio and we've got the beginning of a Mercury retrograde. We'll start to feel those energies come in at the weekend. But for now, Saturday, Sunday, very golden. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, really green and heart-centered and really beautiful healing and nowness and presence and soulfulness. If we can just dwell in that place for most of the week, then we will be strong and refreshed and ready to look at the energies that are coming up. So those are the horoscopes for this week, and I'll see you next week. To celebrate the beauty of nature, I will be holding a series of tree walks over the summer on Hampstead Heath in London, and the first one will be 2 till 4 on Saturday the 2nd of May. So during these tree walks we have a lovely 2-hour long walk around Hampstead Heath. I'll show you how to recognise the different tree types, so that instead of when you're walking in a park it's a sea of green, it now becomes individualised. You'll be able to tell the difference between an ash and an oak and a rowan and a beech, and learn about their tree lore, their magic and their healing properties. I'll also be introducing the Ogham tree language and the tree calendar, which gives us all a birth tree, so everybody has 1 or 2 trees that are native to their birth sign, the tree zodiac. So we'll be having a look at the ancient Ogham language, the tree calendar, the tree recognition and the magic and the healing lore of all of the trees. So if you're interested in coming along and embracing nature with me on the 2nd of May, then please do contact me, zoehind7@gmail.com, and I can send you details. This is a very child and dog friendly walk as well, so all are welcome. There will be more dates coming along in the future as well if you can't make that one. Also, my workshop of the month is Herbalism. I've been making all of my own products for decades now, and I'd love to share some of my recipes with you to help get into a toxin-free space, to stop polluting our bodies and the water and the air by actually engaging in making our own products. So this will be a very small and gentle group on the 15th of May, where you can come along to my place in Camden and actually learn how to make some of your own products and engage with the beauty of the herbs and the flowers and the remedies that we can make from them. So please do let me know if you're interested in that as well. As usual, I'm available for readings of any sort on Skype or in person, and I have a whole series of online courses if you'd like to start to engage yourself, learn your chart and appreciate some of the surrounding subjects as well, like tarot and numerology and space clearing, Feng Shui. So I've created a whole system of courses there, so please do get in contact with me if you're interested in learning any of those. You'll receive a video, some notes, and you'll have email access to me for any questions. So have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next week.